What's happening, guys? Billy Davidson here, the Striping Boss. I wanted to hop on here. I'm at the shop doing some maintenance and stuff. I want to talk to you about a couple things and got a really good, inspiring story I wanted to share with you. First of all, the background noise in here is what it is, but one of the units next to me have some type of big ventilation fan or something going on, and it kicks on and off, but that is what it is. But I think even with all that background noise, this is going to be an important video for you. By the way, happy Father's Day, and all you guys out there working hard, taking care of your family and all, kudos to you. I get it, 30 years in the business myself, going on 31. This coming fall will be about around 31 years, and striping, parking lot striping, pressure washing. Early on, I did a little bit of landscaping too, like a lot of you out there are doing, and that's a good little niche to get into, you know, especially if you pick some properties that are ideal for cutting. I never did a lot of cutting. I did some car dealerships, a couple Waffle Houses, that sort of thing, but it was important early on, and that's what kind of inspired me to make this video today. And I got a story to share with you about a guy that was cutting grass, and he was doing all right. He had another little he was doing that part-time, and he had a warehouse job where he was working in the warehouse and driving a truck for the warehouse and something along those lines. So he was cutting grass and working his job. He's got 2 kids. He's got a wife. His wife works hairdresser. She makes decent money. He was making decent money, but it just, you know, with this economy, just wasn't enough. And during the last few years, he got him a nice little commercial mower and started cutting grass and making some extra money, you know, get the house mortgage paid, that sort of thing. And it kind of just went a long ways. And I don't think he was making a lot, maybe 15, 16, 1700 a month cutting, but it was tying up his weekends too. So he contacted me and about parking lot striping, and he wanted to do a little bit of pressure washing. And so I was kind of talking to him about it, and he wasn't even a student of mine at that time. But of course, I give my VIP students priority. But if someone calls, I try to help them out as much as I can. And he was just asking questions, wanting some advice on, you know, cutting grass and stuff is good. Pressure washing's better. You know, higher ticket items. And then when you step into parking lot striping, most of our parking lot striping jobs tend to fall between $2,500 and probably $10,000. It kind of, like a large majority of them fall in that category. I would say about 70% of them do. But then we got some that are smaller, and then we got some of them that are very large, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 parking lot striping jobs. Matter of fact, I was just talking to one of my VIP students. He's got a $45,000 parking lot striping job. It's going to take him 3 days to do. So go figure that. And of course, he's got a bunch of overhead and stuff, but he's still going to come out, I don't know, $25,000, $30,000 to the good in 3 days of work. And it's hard. It's going to be challenging. He's got to drive a few hours, get a hotel, bring his crew with him. But man, that's worth it. You know, I mean, you know, let's say he comes out with $25,000, pay his truck off with that in 3 days. I mean, I think he was telling me his truck note was $806 a month, and you know, he's wanting to get that thing from around his neck. So I was like, hey, take that money, pay the truck off. You know, if you don't necessarily need that money right there on the spot, do that. Get that thing out of the way so you're not paying on it 5 or 6, 7 years, however long they do them now. But yeah, so, you know, this gentleman, I talked to him so I can mention his name. His name is Jeremy, and he lives towards Atlanta, Georgia, a little bit north of Atlanta, Georgia. And he cutting grass, that sort of thing, wanted to do a little pressure washing, and he wanted to do some striping. Striping had really was weighing on him heavily to do that. Matter of fact, he honestly, and I asked him if I could share this, and he was good with it. He even needed to split pavements on the striping course, which we do that sometimes. It's important that they get that information, get started. So he got a couple pressure washing classes from me. Again, the striping was real important to him. I'm in here doing some maintenance, by the way, so that's what we and on my striping machine. We got a crazy week coming up. So he got the striping course. He got a couple pressure washing classes from me, and I didn't hear from him for a while. I guess about a month or so, and had his number in my phone. And I was just going through deleting messages. Sometimes I get 200 text messages a day, and I ended up texting him. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And plus he owed me the remainder of that split payment too, so I was kind of reaching out for that as well. And he called me right away. So he's like, "Hey, everything's going good. I'm going to send the rest of that payment over." I was like, "Hey, no rush. I was just checking in on you." But what this guy did, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. He split payment on my striping course. And I went back and looked at all the videos, all the training. He went over this stuff over and over and over again. And so I'm talking to him about it, and he took our online test. He missed a few on there, so he's scored at 90%. So I'm going over the test with him. I was like, "Hey, you got this question wrong, that question wrong. Go back and watch this section." I was explaining to him why we do certain things a certain way in this industry, and how the test was kind of designed to teach that. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you test yourself, and I found that really important. So he's telling me about a couple jobs he's doing, and one of them I would have rather helped him bid, because I think he underbidded it probably about $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. But that being said, he's still making good money on that particular job. And he tells me, he's like, in the past month, because I hadn't heard a lot from him, he said, "I've been crazy busy." He said, "I went through striping course and immediately started doing some of that marketing stuff that I teach." And he picks up 4 network of doctor offices in that general area. I think it's like a bone doctor and a couple other facilities in that area. And so he snags this striping job from this property management team that owns all of those little places, or manages those places, and he picks up $9,000. And I was like, "Well, what kind of machine did you get?" So he found a machine on Facebook Marketplace, a used one. He sent me a couple pictures of it. It looked kind of raggedy, but I don't think he paid much for it. $400 or $500 or something. Did some maintenance on it and got it running and got it striping. So he picks up $9,000 basically in a weekend, and he's like, "I've never made this kind of money in my life." And I was like, "Well, congratulations. This is what I've been trying to scream from the mountaintops for the last few years. Striping pays, and it's difficult, it's challenging, it's you gotta have the right training for it, that sort of thing." But he got it done. I actually looked at some pictures of his work. I would say, for me, it didn't pass the mustard, as far as what I would expect out of our team. But it wasn't bad, and obviously he got paid off of it. But there was a few things he could have improved on, he had a couple little overlap marks, a little bit of overspray around a ballard pole. But I said, "Look, go back and clean that up. You've been paid already. You don't have to, but call the people, let them know that you came to check on your striping job and just kind of overlook things once it was all done, and you've seen a couple items, you want to go back and touch them up." So those people are really going to value that. Of course, he's already been paid. He doesn't have to do it, and he's doing it out of just trying to perfect his craft. And so he did that. I don't know what kind of response he got from those people, but Picked up another striping job at a car dealership. I think Kia or something like that, he was saying. That was a little bit smaller job. I think he was saying around 3,300. That's the job I think he could have charged probably closer, I don't know, maybe 5,200. I looked at a little bit of a satellite view of it and some pictures. I think he left some money on the table there. So, that being said, if you're one of my striping students and you need some help bidding a job, give me a call. Like, I hate to see you leave money on the table. Like, we're not trying to gouge our customers at all. And most often we'll give them a deal, a budget price, especially if we're kind of combining jobs together, like we washing and striping, we'll kind of do a package deal on it. But that being said, we don't want to work cheap. We don't want to work where we're not enjoying our work because we're not getting paid enough, and these are industry standard prices. And obviously churches, things like that, we'll drop the price sometimes in half and still make decent off of it. Nonprofit organizations, things like that. Sometimes we'll do them for free, if we have that ability to do it. Sometimes we'll do a nonprofit for free. Obviously a car dealership's not nonprofit. But he left some money on the table, and I'll say, look, don't beat yourself up over it. Let's, take this opportunity to learn from that. He's like, well, you think I left at least $1,000 on the table? It's like, for sure, $1,000 you left on the table. What could he do with that $1,000? Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, he could take his family on a little weekend vacation. He could take a little short cruise, do something, pay off a credit card bill, get ready for school to start. August will be here before you know it, and all the school clothes and supplies are coming up. He could have used that $1,000 for that. But, it's said and done with. He left that little bit of money on the table. I'm going to help him price out a couple more jobs, just make sure he got it. And I directed him to go back and watch all of our pricing strategies that we have. So he's going to go back and do that. I think he's going to be all right, in good shape. But just the fact that he was at a point where he was cutting grass, and I'm going to get into that as well here in a second. Wanted to do some pressure washing, really interested in striping. And like he said, he made more off those 2 striping jobs than he made, all year of cutting. So, and like I told him, don't give up the cutting yet. Matter of fact, and this is the point I want to make, you can leverage some of your existing contacts that you have if you pressure washing, if you're cutting, if you window cleaning, and let those customers know, hey, now we're doing striping, or now we're doing pressure washing. Like if you're cutting, add in pressure washing. If you're pressure washing, add in striping. Those accounts, you already have a relationship with them. You're already a vendor. You've already exchanged services. They've already paid you before. You know that customer. They know you. So it's a win-win situation in a situation like that. But it just goes to show you, this guy didn't have a lot to start with, buys a used piece of equipment off of Facebook Marketplace. And like I said, it looked kind of shoddy to me. It looked kind of raggedy, but evidently it worked well enough. And he goes out and, does a $9,000 job and another job for around $3,000, and didn't even occupy a week's worth of his time doing that. It's really important. Now, what the future holds for him, I don't know. But the guy seems really hungry. He seems very ambitious. And I think he's got a good run ahead of him, so long as he stays, hungry, keeping his work quality up. He needs to get some more equipment, for sure. I was letting him know what I tend to teach is, get what you can get to get started. Make some money. Let that money pay for your new equipment. Try to stay out of debt with it as much as you can. You don't want to saddle down a new business. I mean, you got enough challenges already. You don't want to be making expensive notes on stuff. And let that business feed itself, if that makes sense. So it's going to be real important for him. And I think he's got a really bright future. And if this is something you looking to get into, pressure washing or parking lot striping, I'll put a link to my training classes in the first pinned comment. You click on it, check it out. And my phone number is on that website. So if you got any questions, text me. Like I said, I get a lot of text messages every day, but I will get back to you. You could call me as well, and leave a voice message. If I'm busy, I will call you back. Another thing we've started doing with our VIP students is a lot of our calls are scheduled due to my schedule, due to their schedule, that sort of thing. Sometimes we work day and nights, they flip back and forth, work a night crew, then shift over to working day crew, and sometimes I get a little bit behind. But if you are in an emergency situation and you're one of my VIP students, just text me the word help, and I'll see that, and I know that's like pending priority right there, and I'll get back with you, I promise. I may have to wake up and splash some water in my face, but if you text me help, I will get in touch with you within the hour in most cases. So, that being said, guys, happy Father's Day. Again, stay hungry, man. You can make it happen. If you got children, your children deserve their dad to do well. If you if you're married and you got a significant other, that your partner deserves you to do well financially and for your peace as well. I mean, usually, I say men, we do have some women striping. Primarily, it's mostly men that we train for whatever reason. To be honest with you, women stripe better than men. Don't y'all get mad at me. But I've seen some of their work, and man, right out the box, they're striping like a pro. So for whatever reason, attention to details, I don't know what it is, but most of our students are men, and you deserve better than you don't deserve to be broke. And especially if you got skills, if you're good with working with your hands, if you got a good head on your shoulders. I know a lot of you guys are. I read the comments. Some of them are like incredible genius comments, but I know y'all can do it. And look, if I can do it, I come from a small town in Louisiana, and I wasn't afforded the opportunity to go to college. So, it was just got through high school, and I had to start working to feed myself, like literally. And some of y'all know my story. If you've ever read my book, you'll get it. But 17 years old, it was, make it happen or go hungry. And I went hungry, and then I made it happen. So, but yeah, it's challenging, but stay hungry, man. Stay out there getting it done. And look, I know there's times, y'all won't believe this, but there was times when I first started. This is before internet, before YouTube, before Google, before Chat GPT. All that stuff was not even thought of when I first started. And when I got started, I was trying to read books on painting, like houses, and it had nothing to do with striping, but I was learning about paint. I was reading books about conventional spray equipment. Conventional means they use air pressure to spray paint. That's not so much anymore. We always use airless machines. And I was trying to gather all this data together and try to learn striping, making huge mistakes, getting in trouble on a job site. Look, man, there was times I would be out there striping and screwing everything up. Had no one to call. I didn't have that lifeline. Didn't have no one to train me, no one to talk to. I had no one to text help to. Matter of fact, there was no cell phones out there to text. It was all pagers back then, and public phones. The old phones that you go in and drop a quarter in, those type of things. But look, there was times I would sit in my truck and just grip the steering wheel, tears coming down my face, and just didn't know where to turn to, and then had to get back out there and fix it, and didn't know how to fix it. And that's. And just thinking about it, and it don't have to be like that for you. You can learn from our mistakes. There's a lot of guys out here in this industry that are giants, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I started out with nothing, and into striping and pressure washing, and pretty much self-taught, and I think it took me about 8 or 9 years to get good at it. And man, that seems like a long time thinking back on it. But if you don't know, you learn these bad habits early on, and then you continue to do them over and over again, with the equipment that you got. And I think, with our training, you can shave years off of that learning curve. Like, probably cut it down to a year or two with the proper training before you get as good as a pro. That makes sense. You'll be good early on, but all that repetition takes time for you to get pro-like good. Otherwise, if you don't know where to start or how to start, it's going to take you years to figure it out. And that's what we're here for, to kind of shave off some of that time, get you successful. Sometimes you can sabotage your own business before you even really get started in it by making some of these mistakes. There was this one job, I was doing a parking garage down in New Orleans, Louisiana, and really didn't know what I was doing, and probably shouldn't have took the job, but man, I was needing it. And that guy was not happy with me, and a very, very wealthy guy, and boy, he was upset with me. We sprayed some paint that didn't need to be sprayed there, and then the tip got clogged up and it shot off all on a wall, and horrible situation. Got it cleaned up, got the job finished, and got paid. But looking back on that, it's embarrassing to think. I mean, I was on my hands and knees with a wire brush trying to scrape up paint and stuff, and this guy was standing over me, just railing me. And I probably deserved it. I mean, he could have gave me a little break, but he didn't. But I tell you what, I'll never forget that. And that's what caused me to get good at what I was doing, because I had made so many terrible mistakes striping early on. And maybe that guy had wisdom. Maybe he figured he'd be hard on this young dude and make him get better. But it was an awful experience, I promise you. Could you imagine out there doing some work that you desperately need to earn the money for? I mean, this is it. Like, borrowed money to get to the job, like using a credit card for fuel and using a credit card for paint, praying that you get paid off of it to pay that back and to make some money. And then you screw up, and then the guy standing over you just railing you. And but we could help you in that situation for sure. Like 100% guaranteed. You're not going to have to go through that with us here on your side. But, like I said, this student of mine is going to do good. Started out with nothing. And, man, I mean, the sky's the limit for him right now. And striping is everywhere. Pressure washing's everywhere, guys. Again, happy Father's Day. Keep y'all's head up. Keep pushing forward. Don't get discouraged. You can do it. I'm here to help you. Again, I'm Billy Davidson, the Striping Boss. And I hope to see you in the next video.